I got spirit. Yes, I do. I got spirit. How about you?
We got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit. How about you?
Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to our community. I'm Andy Thornton, President and CEO of the Greater Peoria Family YMCA, and your host of the Our Community podcast here with the I've Decided community. Our community is sponsored by I've Decided and the Greater Peoria Family YMCA. And joining me today is Brianna Wells Nickerson, also known as Coach Bre, and the owner of Coach Bre Cottage.
Yes.
Get that all out right?
You did.
All right, awesome. So, Coach Bre, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to have you here. You're the perfect guest for this podcast version's topic, which is the weekly winning word, spirit.
Okay.
Right, and as a cheer coach,
yes,
I'm sure you've got a lot of spirit and a lot of experience in helping others develop some spirit, right? So we're going to get into the importance of having spirit when we think about the achieving our goals and dreams and being successful, right? How does spirit help us be more successful? But before we do that, tell everybody about Coach Bre Cottage and some of the great work that you're doing here, serving some of these great young ladies in our community.
Yeah, so Coach Bre Cottage was opened 3 years ago. We are located on 2390 West Nebraska Avenue. We're a cheer company for ages 2 to 13. We do not hold any competitions. We want everyone to come out. No tryouts, and only smiles is what I say. Yeah. We do travel the world. My most important thing about me is building communities, right, and then fostering inspiration and love and joy around the world.
That's awesome. So where are some of the places that you've been able to take these young ladies?
I am very blessed and thankful that we've been able to travel to Disney World. We're getting ready to head to New York City to perform in Times Square in 30 days. Super excited about that. We performed at the Bradley game, Chicago Bulls game, the Riverman game. Okay. I like to say they won that year because of us. And then we also do community events. I created an event last year that's called Peace Love Cheer Day, which I thought was amazing. We just get the police officers, they come out and they learn cheers with us.
Oh, really?
And do cheer stunts with us. And then we also do Race for the Cure.
That is really cool. So how many girls do you work with in a given season?
Wow. In a given season, we have about 60 kids.
Wow.
We have about 60 kids, but I have my performance team, which is a little separate, a little more commitment.
Okay.
So some of those parents aren't able to commit that much. Mm-hmm. So then we have about 25 that does that. So about half.
So the 25 are the ones that are kind of traveling around doing going to New York City.
They're going to New York City, right? Yes. Yeah.
So 60 kids. Wow. Yeah. And ages 2 to 13, that's such a wide age group.
Wide range. But it's the perfect age. It's the perfect age group. It's just the building blocks to be able to teach the kids and in the community, because I believe we should start young.
Yeah.
Start young, and as we talk about the word spirit, is to teaching them to believe in yourself. And that's the perfect time to start building those building blocks for them.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. And I love what you just said. Using spirit to help them believe in themselves.
To believe in themselves.
Because if we don't believe in ourselves, who's going to believe in us, and how are we ever going to be successful if we don't have that personal commitment and belief in our own abilities, right? Mm-hmm. It's so important for us to do that. And I think Kim's article really helped kind of frame that up for people, right? The spirit. So the definition for spirit is enthusiastic behavior towards someone or something, a lively or brisk quality in a person or a person's action. So when we think about spirit in the context of success, we're talking about it more than just being, we'll say, enthusiastic.
Okay.
Right? It's more than just being loud and full of energy. Mm-hmm. We want to think about spirit from the context of cultivating energy.
Okay.
Being passionate about something, and having a resilient mindset.
Okay.
So how would you describe having spirit and how has it influenced your success?
I would say for me, it's just having that positive mindset and setting those goals to small goals. And that's why we don't do the competition, because we want to set the goals where the kids can work towards that goal to perform in front of 500 people. That's already amazing, right? So take out the competition just to be able to perform. Come and talk in front of someone, because that's big. They have to learn that in school. When they get to their jobs, they need to learn those different things. So putting them in settings where they have to build themselves up. And so that's what's important, and that was helped me in my life, is believing in myself and knowing that I can do these things. Even coming to talk to you today, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a little nervous, but motivating myself to keep going and knowing that I can get those things done. And it's just the positivity that helps along the way with those type of things.
Yeah. And so in everything that we do in life, whether it's running a cheer cottage or it's running a YMCA or whatever folks in our community may be out there trying to accomplish or trying to achieve and be successful in, there's always going to be challenges, right? There's always roadblocks that we run into. And so how do you think, or how would you describe having an attitude of spirit? How does that help us overcome challenges like that? How can we use that asset? I'll call it an asset, because if we're spirit filled, right, we have energy, we have enthusiasm. How can we use that to overcome those challenges that we're faced with almost daily, right? There's always something that comes up that we didn't expect, and we've got to work through or around.
Yeah, so I think it's important to count those small wins, those small steps. You know what I mean? Like, start there and be proud of yourself for those things. Because you're not always going to make that run. Say you're running a marathon, or you're setting a goal to open up a business, and you got to buy that building, and you have to buy inventory and all those different things in 1 month, and you might not be able to do that. But count that small goal that you at least made the plan. You at least made the plan, and then you'll say, okay, from here I did this, so next month I'll do this, and just start building those blocks with counting those small wins.
Yeah, that was something in Kim's article about celebrating the small success. Right? Reward yourself along the way, and make sure that you identify those small victories, because I think it's easy to get overwhelmed with the big plan,
the big picture, to get down the road 5 years from now. Let's just start from today. And then tomorrow and the next day, and continue to gather those items. And then eventually you'll have that house. You'll have that big goal that you want when you start with those small wins.
Yeah. Another thing that I think is important is when we have an attitude of spirit, I think we're more likely to see the glass is half full, right? Rather than half empty. Right. And when I think about that type of an attitude, the glass full attitude, I always think of Eeyore. Right? And Eeyore is not a glass full guy. Right? You know what I'm talking about? Winnie the Pooh character, for those of you that may not be following along. But Eeyore is a glass empty person. Right. But I see Tigger as kind of a glass full. Glass half full person. Right? And always bouncing around, always looking for something to do, full of energy in that. And I think that when we have a glass half full perspective, we're better prepared to overcome challenges. Right? We see obstacles as an opportunity, or challenges as an opportunity versus as a setback. And I think that's really important for us as we try to pursue success in our life. Challenges are going to come, but we got to see it as an opportunity.
They will.
Or it's going to take us a lot longer to work through that challenge or overcome that challenge. Is that something that you agree with? Is it something that you see in your world of cheer?
Yes, I agree with that. Challenges are definitely going to come. And so it's important to build your community.
Yeah.
And that's why we have a cheer team.
Right.
You're building the people around you. So in the business world, you want to build those, your family members, your partners, and different things like the I've Decided community.
Yeah.
You want to build those people who can help you and say, you're doing a great job today.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get it next time. You know what I mean? And different things like that. So it's very, very important to have a positive mindset and a positive community.
Yeah.
Think about the people you surround yourself with, and that's going to help you grow too in everything you do.
Yeah, I like to call that your circle of influence.
Yes.
Right? The people that you hang out with, that you associate with.
You
have to be careful who you allow in.
In that circle, yes, right? Definitely.
But because you can learn from those other people, and hopefully, if you have an attitude of spirit, you're going to be a positive influence.
Yes,
for
definitely.
Others too. And I think we attract people when we have that type of a perspective in our life.
Agreed.
Right?
Agreed.
Negative people repel. They're repellents, right? They repel people away from the most part. Some people like to hang out with negative people.
They do.
Typically, they're negative people themselves.
Do. That's it. They're hidden negative people. Yeah.
Kind of feed off of each other, but it's important for us to, I think, circle ourselves with positive folks. Be intentional about that, because those individuals are going to be able to pour into us, be able to provide the energy that we may lack at times. Because, let's be honest. Some days we get up and we're like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. I don't want to do this type of thing.
Right.
And that can be pretty overwhelming and pretty defeating. But when you've got those people in your life that are
positive spirits and different things like that, it would totally help. And then, just like cheerleaders, we talk about cheerleading, you go into the games. They don't always win the games, but at the end of the game, we're still saying, you'll get them next time. Good job. Good job. You at least got that many scores. You know what I mean? You didn't give up. So that's important. It's like, yeah, I didn't give up. I can keep going. Next time I'll do it. You know what I mean? So that totally helps you.
And back to your point earlier, celebrating the small successes. Sometimes just showing up is the small success.
It is.
You gave some effort.
Yes. Today, you go to a meeting you're like, who are all these people? I don't know these people. They're going to ask me these questions. I don't know the answer to these questions. So just showing up to that door and being there.
And having the courage to try is an important thing.
Very important.
So let's talk about a little bit about the impacts of spirit on our success. I think when we have, and this was in Kim's article, when we have a spirit or an attitude of spirit, it's going to help us perform better. Yeah. Right. And when I think about it, I always like to think about it from the opposite.
Okay.
If I'm going into a project that I'm doing at the Y, or if I don't have the right attitude, I'm not going to be successful. I'm already setting myself up for failure, right? So a lot of our success is dependent upon the attitude before we ever start.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? Do you see that? Do you see that with your cheerleading students?
I agree 100%. Because with cheerleading, we work on tumbling and we work on holding each other in cheer stunts. And if you're already going into it like, she's not going to catch me, I'm not going to get my backflip, you're already just setting yourself up failure. Yeah. So it's important with all those steps that we're talking about, your positive circle, having that positive mindset, having that true spirit of encouragement. It starts there. It starts from the very beginning, and just keep reminding yourself. Doing some affirmations and different things like that. I put that on the wall. My mother-in-law bought me this for Christmas. It says, believe in yourself. Because there was a time where I was down and I was like, oh, this business, who knew that all this is going to take place? Right. And I looked up in my room because my husband put it in the room and it said, believe in yourself. And I needed it right then and there. So those positive affirmations can help you continue to keep your circle positive, continue to keep thinking and staying around the positive people. Come to I've Decided meetings, come to them, talk to them, and stay in that circle because it's so important. We all have that same goal. We want to work hard. We want to get there, but you need a positive circle to help you get there. It's truly important.
Something else that you said that I think is very important and profound is a lot of times others are depending on us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's important for us. I mean, you're a leader because you're a business
that's
owner.
Stressful too, right?
I'm a leader in my organization, and if I don't have the right focus, the right attitude, the right spirit leading the organization, people feed off of that.
They do.
And I think it's important for us to understand there's a responsibility that comes with that. So all of these other things that you're talking about of who is it that are in our circle of influence, right? How much energy and effort are we bringing to the table in the things that we do? It's important because we can be a light for others around us, right? Encourage others by having the right attitude.
The right attitude, yes. And that's truly important when you said people feed off you. Like with my business, sometimes I walk in the door and I'm like, okay, game face on. No matter what happened before, I'm like, game face on. I'm dealing with kids and I need them to feel the energy. And as I employ youth that are teenagers, and I'm telling them like, you might have a bad day. You could have had a bad practice or anything because they also cheer on their own teams and different things like that. But when you come in with the littles, I need you to game face it. We need to have that positive energy. And then by the end of the day, they're having fun too. So then once you realize, like, let me shake some of this stuff off, and then it just gives you a brighter day and a brighter spirit for the next time. So.
And then you feed off of that energy.
And we all just keep feeding off each other. So again, that circle is important. That circle is important.
Would you say that having an attitude of spirit helps give you focus?
It does.
Right?
It does. I think it gives me focus. With a positive spirit, I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing for myself, those around you. And then, like you said, those are people who are looking to you for those things. And it's important for me, for my legacy, is for people to see who I truly am, no matter who's looking. So, you know what I mean? So you want to be positive all the time. You want to have a positive spirit all the time. So no matter if I see you and you're like, oh, you didn't know me, but if you seem like, oh, I see her, she's always laughing, she's always having a good time. So it's important to be true to yourself no matter where you are.
Well, I gotta tell you, you've lifted my spirit.
Okay, you lifted mine.
Your energy.
Because we got spirit. Yes, we do. We got spirit.
We do. Your energy, though, has impacted me just in this short setting of just sitting here talking with you.
Nice.
Some days are harder than others, right? And we all need that. Agree. And I think it's okay for us to admit that too, is that, hey, going back to that circle, it's okay. Admit when you're struggling. Share that with the people who care about you, who want you to see you successful.
Lock in.
Because they're going to provide the support that you need. And in return, you're going to be able to do that for them.
Agreed.
So there was 6 things in Kim's article that she talked about. 6 ways to help us cultivate more spirit.
Okay.
First one was set goals, set inspiring goals, not just goals, set inspiring goals, which in my mind, I think of those as they got to be they got to stretch you a little bit.
Okay.
Right. You gotta be creative. So in your line of work and when you're, running your cheer cottage, how do you approach setting goals with your students?
Okay. So my most important thing is, again, we don't do any competitions. So my goals is to set them up for life.
Okay.
So I want to set them up to think about, why are we doing this? Why are we performing? Why are we practicing? Because again, you don't see the outcome until we perform. So each day I tell them to practice like we're going to perform it.
Right.
So if you're just barely smiling now, when you get out there, you're going to barely smile. So start now. So everything you do, continue to practice it like you're going to do it in the end.
Yeah. No, that's important to understand. Practice makes perfect, right?
Progress. Practice makes progress.
Practice makes progress.
Yes. Continue
that's probably a better way to put it.
Continue to work on it. Because if you set yourself and think it's going to be perfect in the end, then when it's not perfect, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Fair.
So
that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. But if your attitude, your spirit, your attitude of spirit in practice isn't good, and you continue to practice that way,
you're going to continue to practice that way,
then the performance is going to be probably subpar.
Yeah,
right? So
totally.
it's important
because then it's going to, when you get to that point, it's bigger stress, it's more stress. So when you think about that game or the performance or your business, when you get to the ending where you're signing everything, you're signing those leases and different things like that. And if you haven't made those small steps to get there, that last day is going to be like, oh my God, I can't take it because it's too much, because you haven't set yourself up. So.
Yeah, that's good. We talked about celebrating small wins.
Yes.
Right. That was also one of the 6 ways, is make sure you take time to reward yourself.
Agreed.
I think we often overlook that.
We do. We do. Like, nope, I can't do it right now because I got too much going on.
Yeah, because there's always something else to do, right?
Always
and it's always easy to move on to the next thing and forget about, wait a minute, we just accomplished something.
We did.
And we need to recognize that. Yes. It's not like you have to throw a party every time you do it, right? But you can still, right? Yeah, give yourself
that is
a clap,
a simple thing. That clap, high five, right? Somebody.
Go get a cup of coffee.
We did this.
That's right. Yes. Right. That's really important. We talked about surrounding yourself with positive people.
Yeah.
That's critically important. Mm-hmm. That circle of influence. Let's talk a little bit about self-care.
Okay.
Right? That's important too. And this is an area that I suck at. Mm-hmm. I don't think about that nearly enough until I'm down in the dumps.
And I'm like, why am I here?
Yeah.
So, yes.
But I think it's critically important, and it's something that we need to spend some time on and provide some encouragement for people, is how do you approach taking care of yourself? Because I imagine when you get up in the morning, you got a lot to do when it comes to preparing these 60 kids, these 25 kids that are going to New York. There's probably a long list, but how do you take time for yourself and make sure that you're investing in yourself so that you have the energy and the enthusiasm and the spirit to care for those ones that you're caring for?
It's hard. I will not say that it's not. It's very hard. I'm big on affirmations.
Okay.
So I do wake up and I pray, and that believe in yourself is right there on that wall. And I look at that. And then back to your circle. We can't say it enough. When you have, like, my husband, my mom, I've talked to Kim, and she's like, hey, check in. What are you doing for you? You know what I mean? So that circle is truly important.
What does your self-care strategy look like?
I am what they say, the Netflix and chill person.
Okay.
I don't want to do something super big. And it's important to vacation too.
Yep.
You have to have those close days.
Right.
Close that business down. It was designed for a reason to have a vacation. So do that. But me, is more of just kind of laying back, turning it off a little bit.
Turning the business off.
Yeah, turning it off, right. Watching that junk TV or
whatever.
What are you
watching on Netflix right now?
So right now I've been watching, I hate to say it, so it's just that junk stuff. It's just the housewife stuff.
Okay.
So, just something
that you get lost in that really
fast. Lost. You get lost in your troubles, everything you thought about, that laundry list of what you need to check off, and you're just like, oh, okay. And then you're kind of refreshed. Because when you start that list, you want to be refreshed anyway, because then you're not doing it right. You're barely getting the mark. You know what I mean? You're just giving it a subpar effort. Yeah. So check out for a little bit, and then you're ready to go.
That's good. That's good. Another strategy to cultivate more spirit is stay connected to your purpose. Okay. Right. And I think of this as know your why. Why are you doing what you do? Right? And you have to, I think, intentionally remind yourself.
You do.
Sometime.
You do.
How do you go about doing that?
Yeah, because you get caught up in the different things, like the bigger picture. I mean, we all open a business because you want to make money or whatever the case may be.
Well, we need it.
You need it, right? We need it to survive. But why did you open that business? And for me, it's for the kids, to give them this opportunity that they normally wouldn't get, because I take out the tryouts for cheerleading. And cheerleading is a very hard thing.
It's very competitive.
Very competitive to get into. So then I have to go back to, that's the reason why I opened it. Yeah. So it's for the kids. Right. At the end of the day, it's for the kids. So knowing what your why is and reminding yourself that is a good check always. And that, I think that is actually what makes a successful business anyway, is because your heart. Yeah.
And you have to be intentional in doing that, because it's so easy just to forget it. And then it becomes work. Yep. And when it becomes work, it's not nearly as fun. Nope. Not nearly as rewarding. Nope. Right? But when you take a step back, you say it's about giving. What I heard you say was giving these these young ladies an opportunity. Right.
Yeah.
And you've removed the barrier. It sounds like anyway, you removed the barrier of the tryout.
That's right.
Right. Which creates a lot of anxiety for people, I think.
It does. I believe there's a place for it, but that's just not for me.
But there's also a place for what you're doing.
Agreed.
Right. Because when you have the element of a tryout, there's those that succeed and those that don't. Right. Yeah. And then what do those that do? Right? Do they? A lot of times they stop trying.
They stop trying.
You've removed that, so you've gotten them engaged and give them an opportunity to grow
and set them, because like I said, I want to set them up for life.
Yeah.
And so, in everything we do in life, school, your job, because eventually they're going to be our CEOs, so they need to know how to keep working towards the goal.
Yeah.
Because if they already got that skill, because usually tryouts for the coaches, I hate to say it this way, but for the coaches, you're already getting the best of the best. Yeah. So, because you had a tryout. True. So I like to build up. I want to build up the community. I want to build up the kids.
I imagine that's really rewarding for you.
It is.
To see that growth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been doing it for probably like 20 years, but the business has been open for 3 years.
And you probably have some girls that have been with you all 3 years.
Yes. And to see them now, it's like, oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's a substantial growth.
Oh my God. It's amazing.
Right. It may not have happened for any of them if you had the tryout.
Agreed.
Right? Because they may not have gotten the opportunity.
Never had that.
Kudos to you.
Thank you.
So the last thing here is you want to maintain a growth mindset.
Okay.
And we talked a little bit about this. A growth mindset is, in my mind, seeing challenges as opportunities. Okay. Everything that happens to us happens for a reason, right? I believe God has designed things that way. Yeah. Some things are good, some things are bad, but it all comes down to how do we perceive it, right? And how are we going to respond to the negative that happens in our life? Okay. Because those are opportunities and areas for us to stretch, right? Become stronger. It's like when you work out your muscles, you break them down, you burn them up, and they grow.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
And it hurts. It hurts to grow.
It does hurt sometimes. It hurts to grow. So, and I'm sure you have setbacks in your coaching, right? How do you approach those as opportunities for growth?
That's a big one. That is really a big one because I'm at 3 years. So you're like, okay, we've done X, Y, and Z. Now what are we doing? And then as you grow into the performance, like now I feel like I need bigger performances and different things like that. So it's like, how do you grow in that area? For me, going back to your why. Why are you doing this? Right. And then the opportunity, the most fun part for my kids is just being out on the stage, being out in the auditorium and different things like that. So going back to my why and staying focused on the positivity of everything that you're doing and why you're doing it. So I'm going to answer that question with saying is staying with knowing what your why is. Yeah. Yeah. So as you grow and those challenges happen, know why you're doing what you're doing.
I like that. Yeah, that's the foundation of all of our success is understanding the purpose.
The purpose of it.
Right. Yeah. I appreciate that a lot. So you've been to Disney World. Yeah. You're going to New York City.
We are going.
You've been in the Civic Center for the Rivermen and Bradley. Where's the one place you haven't been that you want to take your team on?
So next year, we've already confirmed we're going to Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where are you performing in Hawaii and for what for?
It's for a spirit competition. It's like, well, we don't compete, so we do the showcase of it. Right. And so they're going to do the luau. Yeah, performance. They're going to do the luau the night before, and then they'll perform in the middle of the cheer competition. So there'll still be, and I believe sometimes you got to put yourself in rooms that are bigger than you. So those are going to be girls and cheer teams that done phenomenal to get there. Yeah. And then they reached out to me to ask if we wanted to be the performance for the the halftime show.
That's fantastic. So I imagine there are financial needs for your team to get there. So if somebody out there wants to support Coach Bre Cottage, how do they go about doing that?
You just go to coachbrecottage.com, and we do have some sponsorships that are available, and you can check that out, or you can contact us or swing by and come check out. We also love people who want to volunteer. We love people who want to come to the girls and love on them, toiletries and different things like that. It's truly important too.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Coach Bre. This has been a great experience. Thank you for joining us this time on our community. Hopefully, you've learned a little something today about the importance of spirit and how you can foster the growth of your spirit and use it to help yourself become more successful. We look forward to seeing you next time here on our community.